All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we got a lot of really cool and important stuff to talk about. First off, Andrew Yang's Humanity Forward PAC is actually putting its money where its mouth is and starting a coronavirus relief fund of over $1 million throughout New York City with all kinds of cool micro grants. We're going to dive into the details of that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the senators that got busted for making a bunch of stock maneuvers when they heard about some coronavirus happenings. It looks a little bit like insider trading. Some of them have decent excuses, others do not. And then finally, we're going to analyze a little bit of a conversation that happened once again in the Breakfast Club. Andrew Yang was back again in the Breakfast Club, talking about what his options are and the ones that he's seriously considering, and the ones that have big time traction for either mayoral race and candidacy in New York City or a position in the presidency should the Democrats actually achieve victory. Cody, tell us what's going on.
As you mentioned, this morning, Andrew Yang was on The Breakfast Club, and it appears they had recorded this ahead of time, but he did make an announcement this morning on The Breakfast Club, and I just wanted to see if I got this queued up for you guys. This is a video he published today on Humanity Forward about his coronavirus relief fund, so we'll listen to what Andrew Yang has to say about it real quick, and then we'll go in and look at the bill itself, or the plan itself, so we'll play this first.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're well hearing this at home. The coronavirus crisis has been devastating on so many levels, but right now the first level is that people are running out of money to be able to feed themselves or family. They're not sure if they're going to have any money coming in for a while, and we can't wait for others to act. We have to act ourselves. So I'm very proud to announce that the Humanity Forward Coronavirus Relief Fund will be launching today, where we will be putting $1 million into the hands of the working poor in New York City and around the country, and we need your help. So if you'd like to join us in helping people that need that help right now and put cash into their hands, 100% of every dollar you donate will go straight to an American who's
That's
suffering.
A lean
So
program.
join us,
I like it.
Volunteer. We need your help to actually identify the folks that need a hand. And if you need help, go to movehumanityforward.com and let us know. We're going to be giving away micro grants of $250 to $500 so that you and your family can make ends meet. Let's come together, take care of each other, and show that this country will be back on its feet in no time.
All right, so very nice. There we go. So there's a little video. We'll go in. I'll see if I can pull up and go through some of the actual details. A couple things I'll point out right away. One thing I've seen that's already initially caused a little bit of, I guess, controversy, just people didn't love the wording, is wording of referring to, I think, working poor, but in general, working people. Saying, so is this, why is that's not definitely the wording of universal basic income is only for the working. But we'll go through here. From what I've seen looking into it, it's just because this is meant to address coronavirus specifically. That's why. This is it's why he's calling it a relief fund and not a universal basic income plan, because this is a relief fund for, and the reason why he's trying to assess working people, they're the ones whose financials have been most upended recently. That's the bigger thing, right? Like, if you're not working, your financials have been roughly the same. He's trying to help those people all the same. That hasn't changed. Yeah. It's just a new group of people who once had jobs who are now laid off have emerged, and he's trying to help as well. The way I'm seeing it, I know it's not gonna make everyone happy. Don't care. I'm just saying that's what I've seen. So
before we get in the details of it, I'd just like to say something that I was really impressed with. Is when Mitt Romney lost his bid for the presidency, he basically moped around for 6 months. When Hillary Clinton lost her bid for the presidency, she basically moped around for months on end.
When Hillary Clinton lost her bid for presidency, she was on. I feel like she was doing interviews every day for like months. She never went away. She still hasn't. She definitely has a documentary series on Hulu premiering like now. Like, she's never gone away.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that she went away, but Andrew Yang has basically, it looks like he cried it out, gave himself 48 hours, and then boom, was back in the pilot's chair of just pushing UBI. And I love that. I love that he is back in the captain's chair of another big organization that's going to keep going. And that is infectious, and I feel like that's what we need right now. So, yeah, kudos to you, Andrew Yang, for not moping around. And I know that's kind of a stupid thing to say in a political podcast all of a sudden, but that's really kind of what stuck out to me. Can you name any other presidential candidate in your adult lifetime, Cody?
Hold on. You got to walk it back a little bit. It's important to remember, for context, that Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton had won their party's nomination. I think it's a lot easier to get over never having won it than having won your nomination and lost the general. It's a lot harder to get over when you're that close than I never got a delegate in the primary. It's easy to get over. I didn't get one primary in the one delegate in the primary.
Sure.
Time to
Very
move
true.
on. You know, it's like striking out your first 50 at-bats and they cut you. It's like, well, it's not like I ever did anything. You know what I mean? It sucks, but hey, I guess I got to accept where I am.
Solid sports analogy.
Anyway, let's get through to what this is. So the Humanity First Coronavirus Relief Fund, the economic repercussions of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic are grave and far-reaching. Businesses are shutting down, economic activity is collapsing, and workers across the country are being laid off. So a lot of the stuff we've already heard in this video. So I want to go down here and talk a little bit more at some of the stuff down here. So they're talking about volunteers getting organized. So Humanity Forward is building a coalition of volunteers, activists, and other interested parties who are ready to mobilize using available time and talent to promote, assist, and develop an emergency UBI program in a limited amount of time. Volunteers will ideally be local to the targeted communities. Each region has a market lead to coordinate disbursement efforts and efficient use of resources. I thought that was really fascinating because, with what this is in, reference to, right, with coronavirus, a lot of stuff is difficult to gather people. It's one of the things we've talked about. One of the one of the really tricky things we're dealing with here is, like let's say there's an earthquake or a hurricane. Generally, one of the first things you start doing is getting people together in places so you can get them sheltered and fed. Yeah. That's not an option right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that volunteer network does work, right? Because you can't just like it'd be awesome to just have a storefront and you just come in, fill out some paperwork, they hand you a check and you leave. That probably isn't going to be feasible right now. And then just move forward to the last thing, and they mentioned some partners that are helping make it happen. So the ideal partners have pre-existing financial relationships with target populations to be able to efficiently identify appropriate recipients and disperse payments. Examples include credit unions, community banks, and community organizations that work with tipped workers, home healthcare workers, and other classes of workers who will be most affected. So I'm very curious to see what, if any, credit unions do sign on, what, if any, community banks do sign on, and then what community organizations do sign on. That's really interesting to me. Judging by the way this is worded, it seems at the moment they're probably in conversations, nothing official yet, since nobody's name's on this. So it's just really interesting to see the kind of getting a little bit down. Obviously, there's a lot more time to come for more info on this, but getting to the nuts and bolts of it, that's why I always kind of want to figure out, like, okay, but how do you find the people and give them the money, right? Yeah. And I'm wondering with the with the COVID-19 going around right now, how. Again, it's going to be trickier to just go out there and do community outreach type stuff than it would have been in the past. So that I'm kind of curious to keep in mind. Well, but otherwise, it sounds great.
I was just going to say, this is also very much one of the strangest natural, you don't want to call it natural disasters, challenges. We've never really had a pandemic like this previously. In terms of numbers, yes, SARS exceeded it exponentially, but in terms of like global reaction and infection and so on and so forth, this is unprecedented. But part of the reason why coronavirus is so weird is because it goes against so much of our natural inclinations as human beings to want to come together and help each other. It's a very weird concept that we help each other by not coming together. You know what I'm saying? And that does seem to be counterintuitive, at least to me. It seems very counterintuitive when I see somebody struggling, when I see somebody sick. Generally, you kind of want to go over there and see how you can help. But yeah, we all know the social distancing. Just it's strange. In at least from a standpoint of our instincts as human beings. So anyway, yeah, I'm loving this. I'm thinking it's great. And I hope that
just a few more things I want to touch on as
well.
Hit
just
to remind people, get through here. They mentioned, so they go through and they say that Humanity Forward is committed to delivering one-time and recurring basic income payments. They go on to mention that the initial target populations will primarily consist of Americans in lower income brackets who depend on wage work to support them and their families. Again, the reason why he uses the word working poor in some of the promotional stuff for it, this is what he's trying to get at, is they're trying to get aid to the people who recently had their income drastically changed. I mean, that's just the gist of it. He mentions as well that the first program will be launched in the Bronx, New York, and they will aim to roll out similar initiatives in the coming weeks. I just think, again, especially too, there probably is some cities you really can kind of still maybe hand out. New York's not one of them, man. Or like New York City, New York State, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco. These are not cities you can just walk around the streets and kind of, I mean, it's just, they're not allowing people to currently well, they are, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not, there's been further restrictions put in place. So that's really interesting to me to see what's going on with that. But it is also interesting to see, and I like seeing Andrew Yang mentioning that this is separate from a universal basic income initiative they're already trying to get put across the globe. And this is something more in reference to local communities hit hard by the coronavirus. Really, it's funny, too. They're hit by the the restrictions more than by the virus, but they're
Yeah.
one and the same. They're married together. But I did want to point out that it will be starting in the Bronx, and not only will be starting in the Bronx, there's a reason why it's specifically targeting working families, because they've just been specifically economically hit.
Yeah, so I literally just thought of something right now. But I just Googled in 2018 what the U.S. average rent is. Do you know what it is? Just average across the United States of America. In Los Angeles, it's $2,545, so forget it.
$1,400 a month.
No, $525 per month.
You can tell I live in Los Angeles. Like,
Yeah.
People don't pay almost $2,000 a month for their place. That's not normal.
You know what? It's not 4 figures 3 times over. But yeah, I mean, $500, when you think about that, or you think of $1 million, I don't want to besmirch the program, but I remember thinking, oh, that's great, he's doing this. It's hard to come up with $1 million. But man, that's a drop in the bucket of what's going to be going on. But it's not a drop in the bucket to the people that are going to get these $250 and these $500 micro grants. Because if you're staring down the barrel somewhere, and I'm sure New York City, actually, I'm not sure. I know because I live there. New York City is absurdly expensive in terms of rent as well. But, you know, in surrounding areas, it's not. In other states, it's not. And getting a $500 check, man, that means you're only $25 away from rent. And that makes a huge difference in people's lives that you don't want to underestimate because of what appears to be the smallness of the number compared to like other areas.
Money helps and money matters. People like money.
You can't underestimate it, because just like when people said $1,000 a month, oh, that's nothing to live off of. Man, gosh, that would go so far in so many people's lives. You can't underestimate that.
This notion that money doesn't help people is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the wrong number of money.
Like when Nancy Pelosi said, oh, they're just crumbs that people are getting back from their tax returns. They're just crumbs.
Anyone ever found $20 in their pocket and been like, that's a 20? What the hell?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't even care.
That's an epic analogy.
Like, no, you're like, wow, I have $20 I didn't have before. You know, I've heard stories of rich people. They find a $50 bill in their pocket because they're rich, but still, it's, you know, they're worth millions. Oh, nice, I found money. Like, there's no one in the world who's like, that money's too small for me to. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure many of us walk by pennies in the ground, but that's just more because I don't want to pick up something gross in the ground.
Like I remember when
the point being there is that this notion that you have to have the magic number or else the money isn't good enough and it doesn't help is pretty stupid. Of course, more money helps more, but I don't get this. Oh, it's $300 of groceries for a week or two. That's just worthless to me. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't get that notion.
Yeah. So before we move on to our next topic, I do have to say I'm old enough to remember when the phrase "and then I found $5" at the end of a poorly executed story actually started happening. And the first time I heard it, literally there was like 3 or 4 other people when I was in high school that heard the girl that was saying the story, and it was tanking, and then she finally said, "And then I found $5." We're like, "Oh, rock on!" You know what I'm saying? So that's actually an awesome, totally true analogy. Anything else you want to talk about on the Humanity Forward Fund before we talk about these?
Well, just all of the link in the description. And full disclosure, I will probably say this whenever we talk about the Humanity Forward Fund. I do donate monthly to this organization, so. I feel bad promoting something and not telling people because I'm legitimately, supporting it myself. So I'll let you guys know that.
Well, but also that just shows that you really believe in it.
No, I do. Well, of course. I mean, I obviously believe in Andrew Yang and what he's been doing, and I have for quite some time. But I just wanted to, full disclosure, get that out. But yeah, very cool. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll update you guys if it starts expanding to more cities. Other stuff expanding. Trying to, in general, stay up to date, which is what's going on with Humanity Forward. I think a couple things happened I did miss over the last few weeks, so we'll try to keep up with that, especially moving forward into this.
Let us know what you guys think. Please continue the conversation in the comment below. If you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, follow us at PSP Radio 1 and consider joining the channel. It's a great way to keep these videos coming to you daily without corporate sponsorship. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.